Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to unlock what is easily one of the most massive, time-saving superpowers in programming. If you've ever looked at your script and felt like your code was getting just a bit too long, too messy, or honestly, way too repetitive, well, you are in the exact right place. We're talking all about Python functions today.
Think about this for a second. What actually happens when you need your code to do the exact same thing over and over again? Just imagine, you're right in the middle of a live, high-stakes debugging session. Your terminal is just staring back at you, and you suddenly realize you've written the exact same 12 lines of code in 5 completely different places. And if you find a bug in that logic, yeah, you've got to fix it from scratch in every single spot. It's incredibly frustrating, right? There absolutely has to be a better way to package our logic.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today. First, unpacking Python functions. Second, the 3 function categories. Third, exploring built-in functions. Fourth, defining your own functions. And finally, the power of modularity.
Starting with Section 1, Unpacking Python Functions. What exactly is a function anyway?
Simply put, a function is just a named, reusable block of code that performs a specific task when called. It's like a neat little package. Instead of rewriting a long sequence of instructions, you just bundle them up under a single, easy-to-remember label. Whenever you need that specific logic executed, you just call out that label, and it runs beautifully, right on command.
Moving right along to Section 2, the 3 function categories. Let's organize our tools. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is seeing how our tools break down into 3 distinct categories. First up, we have built-in functions, which are ready to go the very second you start coding. Second, user-defined functions. These are the ones you actually build from scratch. And third, anonymous or Lambda functions, which are specialized, bite-sized tools for super quick operations. Today, we're going to focus heavily on those first 2.
Section 3, Exploring Built-in Functions. These are the tools that come right out of the box. We're talking about the freebies Python automatically provides, like print, input, len, and type.
And here's a totally surprising fact about those built-ins. You probably think functions like max and min are strictly for math and numbers, right? Well, if you fire up a live session and pass a string of text characters into them, they actually work. They follow alphabetical sorting rules. So, calling max on a string is going to return the letter closest to the end of the alphabet. It's just a brilliant little feature built right into the language.
But you still have to be careful, especially when it comes to type conversion. Passing a string of numbers into the int function, that executes a beautifully clean, successful conversion. But if you try to pass incompatible alphabet characters into it, no way. That's going to throw a flashing red value error and crash your entire program. This is exactly why checking Python's documentation is your absolute shield against execution errors. All right, Section 4, Defining your own functions. It's time to start writing your own reusable tools. Let's methodically break down the anatomy of how you actually construct a function step by step. Step 1, you always start with the def keyword. That's what tells Python you're defining something new. Step 2, you add your custom function name. And remember, we always format this in lowercase with underscores, which is known as snake underscore, followed by parentheses. That's also where you drop in any parameters. And finally, step 3, you cap that line with a colon, drop down, indent your code block, and ideally, throw in a docstring that describes exactly what your cool new tool actually does. So, the crucial point here, and you definitely want to remember this, is that a function must be defined before it's called in your program. Python reads your script top to bottom. If you try to call a function on line 5, but you don't actually define it until line 20, your console is literally going to throw an error. You have to teach Python the new word before you ask it to use it. Make sense?
Let's ground all this abstract syntax in a real-world scenario. Imagine we created a custom function called concessions. When we call it, it neatly prints out all the food and drink options at a movie theater, along with their prices, right before welcoming the user. Because we packaged all those print statements into that one specific function, if the price of popcorn suddenly goes up next week, we only have to change it inside that single block of code, not 100 times across our entire program.
Here's another really cool example of that flexibility in action. Say we built a function called terms that asks a user to accept some terms and conditions. It reads the input and dynamically reacts. So an input of Y triggers a thank you output, while an input of N gracefully outputs have a good day. If you drop that into a loop, it handles interactive logic for dozens of users flawlessly, every single time. Which brings us to Section 5, the power of modularity, or why we really shouldn't be reinventing the wheel.
And this brilliantly illustrates the massive time-saving payoff we've been talking about.
Let's say you're asked to change the data in a program from floating point numbers to integers. In a standard repetitive program, you'd probably have to track down and manually update 12 different statements. But in a revised modular program that utilizes a custom calc_distance function, you only have to change 4 statements. The reduction in effort and the reduction in potential bugs is just staggering.
So, what should you really take away from all this? Using functions gives you 4 massive benefits. First, it promotes true modularity. You're grouping statements related to a single task perfectly together. Second, it ensures higher usability. You do the hard work of writing the code once, but you get to execute it infinitely. Third, as we just saw, it makes your code so much easier to modify later on. And fourth, it makes your code highly shareable among other programmers. You can just hand off your function and someone else can use it immediately. So let's slide the terminal window out of the way for a second. We've looked at built-ins, we've broken down the syntax, and we've proven the immense value of modularity. Typing out that def keyword followed by your very own custom function name, it really is your blank canvas. You now completely understand the core mechanics of how to package logic in Python. You've got the tools, and you have the structure to prevent your code from ever getting messy or repetitive again. So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. You've mastered the basics of Python functions, so what is your very first custom function going to build? Thank you so much for hanging out for this explainer. Get out there and start writing some beautifully modular code.